Hi YouTube, it's me, Jen, MSPT71, and I'm here for no I'm not, I'm here to talk about a seminar that I went to on food cravings and the brain. So, let's see. The main things that I learned, I want to try to keep this as simple as possible because it gets a little confusing for me, is that our brain, we have a reward circuit in our brain, and it's very primitive. It is there for us so that we can survive. So if we don't learn, we don't survive. So this reward circuit is set up so that the experiences that we have, we can judge them. It's either a positive or a negative outcome. So what has happened with, with addictions and cravings, that reward circuitry is based on, so for me it's based on the food I eat, the sugar, the fat. That's what gets my system going. For, an alcoholic, it's alcohol. For a drug user, it's drugs. It's the same initial circuitry, but it's different. It's different pathways, and it's different highs. So, like my husband is normal. He's a normie. He has no idea. He doesn't understand. The high or the feeling I get from eating versus not eating. He doesn't understand. I have a friend who loves to do mud runs and Spartans and things like that. I have no desire. No desire to do any of that. To get down in cow poop and jump in a freezing, no. I have no desire. But that gives her, her high. So no one's high is the same as someone else's. Hey, where did my thing go? So I'm going to be looking down a little bit. And she was saying that basically you have to find a way to manage this circuitry. You have to find a way to manage this pathway. The first thing about it that we have to know is we have to have good sleep. If we don't have good sleep, that makes it very hard to learn, and it messes up our hormone levels, which can mess up learning. So I know that a lot of people have issues with insomnia and things like that. And being morbidly obese, I had a problem with sleep apnea. So, man, it was so hard to lose any kind of weight before I started on a CPAP. So, because my sleep was terrible. So sleep is huge. So if you have issues with sleep, I would definitely, talk to your doctor. Find out if you need to have a sleep test. Find out if there's any medication you can take to help with sleeping. Find out what the cause of your insomnia is, because that is going to impede your ability to make new habits, and to change what you need to change in your brain. So it's getting good sleep. The other thing is we have to find something else to use in the circuit, something else that makes us happy. Some people find, being active, volunteering, just anything, taking a walk, doing something different, something other than eating your trigger food or whatever it is you're craving. It's to do something different. So that's really, really hard. It's almost impossible to do in the moment because the circuit is it's hardwired for survival. So if I'm hardwired to, if I don't eat a brownie, I'm going to die, because that's what it would feel like. If I don't eat this, I know I'm not going to die, but this is what it feels like inside. So once that starts going, forget it. it's stopping it before it gets to that point. And that's by doing other things, finding other things that make me happy, finding other things that fill that kind of area. So, so deep in the brain stem, there's something called a VTA. And when it's not it's part of the reward circuit. So when it's not activated, the response is agitation, restlessness, irritability. Can I get a hey? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Restless, irritable, discontent. That is that reward circuit. That is the beginning of it. That is that reward circuit not being stimulated. That is the I'm going to die if I don't have a drink. That is the I'm going to bite my husband's head off. That is how a lot of people are when we're on our liquid diet, because we're not getting the things that fill that reward circuit. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. So the other thing she was talking about was that about negative emotion, and that we want to stay in positive thinking and positive emotion, and to staying in negative emotion, our brain tends to linger there and stay there. And when we're in that state of mind, it's hard to learn, and we can't change our behaviors. We need to move out of that. We need to, like for me, I can only control myself and the way I react to things. So if I kind of wallow in whatever it is, whatever situation, relationship issues, something at work, if I kind of wallow in these bad negative feelings, that I tend to fall back into bad habits and want to eat to make myself feel better. So staying positive, looking at the day and finding, she said, find 3 things that you're grateful for. Find 3 things that were good that happened today and focus on that. And just getting into that habit can help break the negative thinking or feeling, down and things like that all the time. Because the more we think about things, the more we think about them, and the more that affects us. So the other thing along that line of thinking, she said, was we've got to stop thinking about food. Thinking about trigger foods, talking about food, being around food. Like, I have no business going to Christmas cookie exchanges. I just don't, until I've got some sort of control over myself, which I don't have right now. So I have no business going to the Christmas cookie exchange. An alcoholic has no business going to a bar. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me. But stop thinking about things. Stop thinking about food. Stop thinking about negative things. Stop thinking about, if only I had done this, or if only that, or we have to stop we have to change the way that we think. And one way to do that is just to start looking at the glass half full, looking at something positive happened today. I got out of bed and I got dressed. Woohoo! That's positive for me today. The other thing she said, blah, blah, blah. The positive emotions, and yeah. So get enough sleep, control your sleep, do things that make you feel good, stop talking about food, find things that make you happy, avoid things you have a problem controlling, have more and more positive experiences. The more positive experiences we have, the harder it is to turn on the negative thinking. And then she talked about how hormones influence us. So insulin, it's a fed state hormone. It's based on what we eat. Leptin tells our brain how much fat we have. If we're gaining weight, our body, there's no famine. Our weight gets stored and we end up having an imbalance between the hormones. So when you have resistance to insulin and leptin, there's that feeling of being out of control, and there's a hunger. It's a hunger, always wanting to eat because those hormones are out of balance. If you can lose a little bit of weight, the system turns around and the hormones become sensitive again. She talked about appetite suppressants. She said they helped her short term, but they don't last long. That training our thinking brain to find another reward, that's the protection against cravings and overeating, is to retrain our brain and find other rewards. She said to look at people who've had success, ask them what they've done. Another example she said was, instead of focusing on losing weight, you got to focus on not gaining. Focus on just don't gain any more weight. Every time you get on the scale, celebrate not gaining any weight. And if you can stop gaining weight, you have to do that in order to lose the weight. And this wasn't in regards to like bariatric patients or anything. This was just in regards to, being obese and being, having weight issues. So what else? I wrote, feeling good and feeling positive is a way to open the brain up for change. In the negative brain, change doesn't happen. The brain will stay negative with negative thinking. When we're in negative thinking, we're just in survival mode. And I can totally relate to that. Just trying to survive. Just trying to get by. I totally get that. What else? Circuits. Talked about yoga. Talked about laughter and mindfulness. That has the same effect as doing things that make us feel good. So there's so much talk about mindful eating and being mindful in what we're doing. And so things like meditation and yoga practice and those kind of things can help us change our brain circuitry, can help us change our habits. So, and it will create endorphins. So those are the kind of things we need. And then in order to do, make a change, repetition is the key. So you got to do it regularly and it's got to be frequent. And every cell, she said, will resist change. Every brain cell, every multiple personality that I have resists change. So it will, anytime they want to change something, it resists. The tendency is my body wants to resist it. So one habit that I do is I do meditate. And for me, meditation is just waking up and being thankful that I'm up and thinking, saying my prayers and thinking about the day and asking for help along the way. Like, it doesn't take long, and I'm in the habit of doing it every morning. And so when I don't do it, my day is off. So another thing she said that was very interesting was that overeaters may have a weak reward circuit, so that a large quantity of palatable, poor quality food on a regular basis. So keep eating a lot to get just a little bit of a reward feeling. That the circuitry is blunted. It's like when a heroin or a cocaine user, a drug user does drugs, the neurons die, and so they have to do more and more and more to get the same response. So like as an overeater, as me, a binge eater, like that makes sense to me, that I have to eat more and more and more to get the same feeling that I got, maybe when I first started. She said you can reverse the problem caused by overeating as cells regenerate, but we have to do something else that feels good. Exercise can help, working with hands may help, helping others. You have to really find out what you enjoy. And then she talked about hormones and neurotransmitter that increase appetite. So cortisol, low serotonin, which she said low serotonin plays a role in sleep, pain, mood, and appetite. Very interesting. Growth hormone, progesterone, galanine, is that an amino acid? Amino something. Neuropeptide Y, I don't know what the hell that is, but it can intensify cravings for carbohydrates, so I'm not a fan of it. Norepinephrine. So those hormones and neurotransmitters into the brain can increase appetite. And She said the best diet is one of plant food and fish because it controls oxidation and inflammation. So that was a lot of information at 15 minutes. I was all over the place, so I hope you got something out of this. Yeah, it was really just interesting to learn about how, you know, I mean, I just thought I was crazy. Like, if I don't eat something, such and such, I'm going to die. Like, why would I feel that way? Well, that's a very primitive response because those circuits are for us to learn so that we can survive. Well, my brain thinks I need brownies to survive, and the only thing that brownies do, you know, and the rest of it is get me up to 280, 300 pounds. So, on that note, I am going to continue with my meditation. I'm going to work on my mindfulness and get good sleep. And all those things are going to help me to change my habits. So, let me know if there's anything that you do that you enjoy, that you have replaced food with, or, you know, those kind of behaviors that lead you to eat, if you've replaced them with other things. What works for you? I'd really like to know how you guys have been successful. So, all right. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care.